goodness, another episode of Chicago Hill. I'm LaShawn Ford coming straight from the west side of Chicago. I don't know about y'all, but if you haven't been to the west side of Chicago, I'm going to give you a site and a spot to visit. Mac Authors on Madison. Soul food for the soul. You got to visit. And not only is Mac Authors good food, is reasonable in price, and he's a great community leader where he gives back. He's a veteran, wounded veteran, as a matter of fact, and I consider him a friend. Mac Authors, right here on the west side of Chicago. And, you know, Meleika, y'all ain't got nothing in Evanston. Where you from?
We from Evanston, and we got some great restaurants here. Matter of fact, we are flooded with restaurants here in Evanston. We've got Jennifer's Edibles, that's soul food and Caribbean. We got the jerk. They serve that smoked jerk chicken that you like. We've got Good to Go. They've got the grill. We got quite a few.
I could have named several. I mean, man, I just named one. You know, you look at you.
And all of ours give back. I mean, I do believe it was Evanston, Jennifer's Edibles, that during the pandemic, at the start of the pandemic, they led the charge in feeding the homeless. They led the charge in feeding the senior citizens during the lockdown, when we were all on lockdown. The Tribune wrote about them, and then everybody else started doing it.
Oh, Lord.
So,
Mark, listen at that, Evanston.
Yeah.
What do they call y'all? Evanstonites? Evanstonite? What are you?
What you mean? Evanston Wild Kids.
Oh, Evanstonians?
We're Evanstonians.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Mark,
yes.
You know, I tell you, Mark, you in this old park, I find myself spending a lot of time, even though we got a lot of stuff in Austin. I'm tired of y'all taking all our tax dollars over there in Oak Park, coming to your restaurants all the time. You got a nice little town over there in Oak Park.
Hey, welcome to Oak Park, sir. We'll take your taxes to reduce our own.
Well.
I won't bitch about property taxes today, just because that would be, nothing new. But I got to go check out those restaurants in Evanston. You know, this is how you know the difference between just a good restaurant and a community institution. Good soul food restaurants is a good soul food restaurant. A community institution is so famous that even white people go there.
Yes.
Okay. So that's how you know the difference between just a good restaurant, the community institution. Is this white guy's been to MacArthur's, and I would highly recommend it. I just don't want to start taking over y'all spaces.
Come on, bring it on, baby. We want you.
But otherwise, I'd go more often.
You know, I appreciate that because, I actually love Mac Author. He's such a gentleman, unbelievable. So if you haven't been, you got to meet him. Meleika, have you been? I have to get you there. Maybe we could do a live broadcast from there.
Yeah, no, I haven't been. I would love to try it. Most of I'm a compare. Everybody compares all the soul food restaurants.
You know what? I think that it's good to compare, because I bet you that each has its own uniqueness. And I think that's the way we have to look at things in society. I mean, of course it's going to be different. Does it make it better? Or do you just enjoy it differently because of the style that the way it's prepared? Huh?
That's true. And there's an experience. It's the experience when you walk into, a restaurant, the experience that they give you, Meleika. The atmosphere, the environment. Yeah, it's all in there. When we gonna do that? Let me know.
Yeah, so I think we should go too, because my picture is on the wall.
Okay.
I just go to see that.
There we go. All right. But it is good. You guys are great. We're a great team, and to open up with such feel good conversation. It's what life is about. But then it's like going on vacation and getting on the plane and putting the key back in the door, and reality sits in. You know, we're back to reality. The vacation is over, and all you can think about is the fun you had and what tomorrow brings. Work and the reality.
Boy, now you got me depressed.
I know, that's how life is. Well, let's get back depressed.
Now I'm just hungry and depressed.
Meleika, what you gonna depress us with today?
Okay. Well, I don't think this is depressing. It can be. It depends on what it means to you. But Father's Day is approaching, and we know people forget Father's Day. It's not till June 19th, but I wanted to give some special attention to let people know, get prepared for Father's Day, because they deserve respect. They're providers. They teach us discipline. They prepare us for society. They protect us. Women, they give us advice on stay away from the dirtbags, the jerks, you know. Men are awesome. Absolutely. We need you. We love you. And I just want people to get ready for June 19th.
Wait,
Okay?
are you telling us that that Father's Day is sometimes just played off, that you got to prime the pump and get people ready? Hello, it's coming. Hello, it's coming. You know, be ready. Father's Day is coming. Is that what you're doing?
Yes, I am.
And I'd like to prime the pump further, since to connect the topics. Sounds like a nice meal at MacArthur's might just be a great part of Father's Day celebration.
That's right.
That's a good idea.
You know what? I'm definitely going to go and spend some money over there. And guess what, Meleika? I know we're getting ready to play a clip that you have that you really want to share, but Father's Day is actually going to be celebrated. We can't have it all to ourselves, but Juneteenth.
Right.
Ooh.
You know, so it's going to be Juneteenth, where we talk about how Mark's people kept the books from us. They really didn't let us know that we were actually emancipated into the years. You know, what's up with, you know, Mark, you know.
Well, Mark's people were in Moscow, Russia at that point.
Well, we just gonna let your skin.
He's like, get it straight.
I know, but I'm a representative.
Your skin color is going to dominate that, because you use the white privilege when it's good for you. You're going to take this abuse from us right now.
Absolutely. I'm an ambassador of Caucasians.
That's right. And you're going to take these punches and blows for what you all did to America.
Well, you know, and that's a good point. I mean, I don't want to get all serious on us, but you know, it was white institutions that really tried to destroy Black fatherhood. By separating families, by you know, sort of chopping the head off the family to weaken the family, to weaken the community. And that's what I think a lot of people don't understand. They just think that, you know, some of these problems are caused by, I don't know, the air we breathe. Well, it's not like that. Fatherhood was diminished in slave owning and Jim Crow owning America. And in a lot of ways, there are communities still playing catch up after that.
Hello, you know, Meleika, we're going to keep this white guy around. You know, we need the white.
We like Mark.
To tell the truth. We like you. We like you. You a good one. Let me just say, you are a good token. You know, let me tell you what you said that was so important.
Yes.
You know, nobody really want to talk about the impact that enslavement had on Black families. But that's what you said it. It destroyed the family. It destroyed the pride of a man in a way, because I have to say that the enslaved men really were very prideful. But when you are raped in front of your families and your children are taken away from you in front of your family, it does something to the man, whether you're white or black, but it happened to black men. Then, as I think Mark alluded to, moving into out of enslavement time, where the welfare reform came in and it drove the men away from the households, because if you are struggling in poverty, you can't be at the household with your family and receive welfare. Unbelievable. But Meleika, you got something to play. What you got?
Well, shoot, after that, it's a comedian. Well, I guess that'll lift the mood, but everything that was just said is so true. And when you think about it, many people believe it's still happening today with the incarceration, Black men's earning power to be the provider of the family. I mean, it's still a reality actually today. So yeah, let's go ahead and play that clip.
All right, let's do it. So the clip is gonna play. And while the clip is being prepared, let me just give you some numbers. This is by race and ethnicity in 2010, and the numbers are probably pretty much the same. Out of 2,400 people in the Illinois prisons, 258 are white, 472 are Hispanic, 2,128 are Black, 821 are American Indians and Alaskan Natives. I mean, come on now. When you got that many Black people that are in prison, they're men that's away from their children. I'm a father, and I'm not married, and I would say that mothers, that should be the #2 holiday. I could care less if there's a Father's Day.
I think it should be the #1 holiday.
I was going to say that, and you would say that because, of course, you're a Jewish man, and Jesus, you don't, Christmas, you don't celebrate. Do you celebrate Christmas? You don't celebrate Easter.
Well, first of all, I live with Catholics, so I celebrate whatever they celebrate. In fact, when Sophie was conceived and my wife wanted to, she came to me and she said, "Well, Mark, we can raise her Jewish if you want. What do you want to do?" I said, "Honey, I like to sleep in on Saturdays and Sundays. You do what you want."
Okay. That's typical of a man. Do what you want.
Right. Typical father.
Yeah.
So Sophie became Catholic, so she's got that father up in heaven. But hey, I'm all for Jesus. Jesus was a fellow Jew.
Yeah.
I'm all for that. But I guess he just like a typical father, he's invisible most of the time.
Right.
I'm just kidding.
I am all for it. I'm all for, I would say that a Mother's Day, they should have that day, and we could join Mother's and Father's Day together to continue honoring mothers. And I just think that there's no greater person on earth than a mother. And it's amazing.
Well, you're talking to a daddy's girl, and I love my mama. My mama is everything, but my daddy was everything to me too. So I think
you would say that, Meleika.
I think daddies deserve some more love and support and respect, and that day should be honored right up there with Mother's Day.
So I knew you would say that, Meleika. So I pulled a quote for you about fathers. No one in this world can love a girl more than her father. A daughter is a treasure and a cause of sleeplessness. To her, the name of father was another name for love. She did not stand alone, but what stood behind her, the most potent moral force in her life, was the love of her father.
Mm-hmm.
I know you. And so absolutely, there's a role that a man plays in his child's life.
Mm-hmm. Very important one. Very, very important. We need you. We need you.
And so when you take away, we talked about it, enslavement and the welfare society, and now the new Jim Crow, taking fathers out of their children's lives, taking fathers out of their sons' lives. We get a society like we see now. I've got another verse, 2 Samuel 7:14 through 15, chapter 7, verses 14 through 15. This is what we need for our boys. And if we get our boys right, then we have the respectful females. We have the males respecting the females. 2 Samuel chapter 7, verses 14 through 15. I will be a father to him, and he'll be a son to me. When he does wrong, I'll discipline him in the usual ways, the pitfalls and obstacles of this mortal life, but I'll never remove my gracious love for him. I mean, what about those boys that and girls that actually don't have a father because of the criminal justice system that locked them away? Who's going to be that to them? Who's going to be the father to him and discipline him? I don't know.
Mm. Unfortunately, the young boys will seek it out, you know, in the street, that father figure, that sense of family. And that's unfortunate, because then it just repeats. It becomes a family curse cycle. And girls, you know, you just gotta hope and pray she sees some example of a healthy relationship, because otherwise she's gonna pick some really bad dudes.
And I'll give you guys one more, because when Meleika speaks, I listen. You know, it says, so Jesus said to them, truly, truly, I say to you, the Son can do nothing of his own accord, but only what he sees the Father doing. For whatever the Father does, that the Son does likewise. So there you have it. You have a father that has to set examples for the son. And if the father's in jail, incarcerated, or have felonies that can't possibly have an equal shot at getting employment, what do you have? The system has to be fixed. So we have to look at why we see so much, without making excuses, so much violence in our communities. And when I hear people talk about where are the fathers, where are the men in these kids' lives? Well, we got to look at it. Either they're locked up. Let's not forget, I don't even think the numbers are being reported about how many Black boys are fatherless because their dad has been murdered. So incarceration and jail. Not to mention the family court system that drives fathers out of their kids' lives. That's so much.
No, when I hear people say, oh, I didn't need a dad, I don't need a dad. Yes, you do. Yes, you did. You are missing something so special. And when my father was killed when I was 9, I felt like the world stopped. For me, and I never got over it. I don't think I ever recovered. That's a huge figure missing in your life.
Meleika, my niece, my great niece, and my great nephew is lost there. I told you all about him being killed. You know, he's 3 years old, and picked him up from school, and he actually just opened up 3, and he said, I miss my daddy. That was so heartbreaking. And look, and his sister is a teenager, and she hasn't said anything, but she calls and I see her. But it's just, what do I tell him, Meleika? Because you've been through this, and when you tell me, you're going to be telling a lot of people about how to deal and cope with the loss of the father, because their father was killed, gunned down, and your father was also killed and gunned down.
Mhm. There's nothing that I can say to make that better, make them feel better. I say this, I pray that they have you, Rep Ford, in their life, some sort of male mentorship that's kind of like a father figure to give them that a woman can't. I pray for that for them. And your faith to get you through that kind of pain. That's all I can say is get closer to God to help you with that healing, help you with that pain, because it's a hole in the soul that's never repaired. And I think only God can make that kind of pain feel better over time. But you have those memories, you never forget them. And to get through this thing called life, there's certain things that men, fathers can provide in that toolbox to help you get through that a woman cannot. And so I pray for them to have that healthy male figure in their life, or to come along in their life for those who don't have a Rep Ford as their uncle or cousin, that they meet that person, somewhere along the journey. And yeah, because it's really a special relationship what fathers bring. It really is.
Mark, check this out. So at 12 o'clock, I'm asleep, 12 o'clock in the midnight.
You've been asleep for like 8 hours by
right. I get this call on the phone, and it's my 3-year-old nephew. Oh my God, I missed it. So I saw it was him. So I called back. And he says, Uncle Shawn, full of energy. I don't know why he's up. He asked me, Uncle Shawn, I want some marbles. I want some marbles. The heck? You calling me at 12 o'clock to get some marbles? And so, Mark, did you play marbles?
Of course. Yeah.
So, yeah. I went on and I went to Amazon Prime, and he got his marbles, and he was so happy.
Well, and that's what fathers do. It's not always, a new car. Sometimes it's just marbles, but more importantly, the intent of the father to do something for the child, the intent of the man to do something for the little boy that I think feeds our soul. Look, I hope that your nephew learns a couple of things from this experience. And it could go either way, right? There are some who learn, well, I don't need to be close to this person, and I don't need that person, and I don't need that person, and I'm me, and I'm going to take care of myself, and I'm alone in the world. And let's hope that he learns something different. Let's hope that he sees how much that man in his life who can answer the midnight call and get those marbles, how much that means to him. Okay. And let's hope that out of that experience, what he sees is that he wants his son, his child, to have that and more. And so hopefully when you do what you do, Uncle Shawn, you are not just helping him, not just taking care of him, but also helping his son. And that's why I salute you, and that's why I think all men have an obligation to step up and to show kids a better world.
Something, what you guys are saying is, so he was playing the marbles outside in front of the house. And not many people in the neighborhood see kids playing marbles. So some people were walking by, And they said, oh my goodness, somebody's playing marbles. I'm going to buy my son some marbles. It was unbelievable how many people he was able to just stop and talk. They stopped and talked to him about marbles. And normally my nephew is always on his laptop or whatever, his iPad, but he actually took time away from that iPad, drew the circle and sat and played marbles. It was unbelievable to see just that. And it didn't cost me. I mean, marbles are very cheap. They look like they're very expensive, but they're very, very cheap. They, and it meant a lot. And guess what I got from him?
What?
Hug.
And you know what else you're gonna get? You're also gonna get a hug from the marbles industry.
Right.
You're single-handedly gonna revive the whole thing.
Right. Oh, and you know what? I gotta say, I don't know. You guys have nieces and nephews, but to be called dad is very special. But when my niece and nephews call me Uncle Shawn, I'm telling you, that is a good feeling. So men, you may not have kids of your own, but if you got nieces and nephews, if they call you dad, if they call you uncle, I'm telling you, it's a good feeling.
Can I ask you guys something a little more serious that I think sometimes plays out, particularly among white people, sort of that self-doubt? You'll have, it's important for a man to be able to step in and play that role for kids that may not have a father. To what extent do you think a white man can do that for a Black child? I think there's sort of all these things, big brothers, mentorship. And I actually was talking to somebody about it, not recently, a while ago, but I still remember it. And on the one hand, a man's love is a man's love, a man's support is a man's support, a man is a man. On the other hand, it's a white man. What do you guys think about that? Should white men try to step into those roles with a Black child when that opportunity for service comes up in some way? Or do you think that's more for Black men to do?
That's a tough one because I have interracial marriages in my family. And so you have white men who are father to young Black boys. So a man is a man, so they can teach him definitely to be a man, but there is an aspect to a young Black boy and girl that a white father might not be able to explain, connect, understand. When they're going through things. So it was interesting because I had a white male friend who was really pursuing me, and he was like, our children would be this and this and this, but I knew that there was an aspect of him that would not understand if we had children.
Oh, I would say, Meleika, you're right, but I also would commend a person that sees a child that's fatherless, and they do what they can to bring that child into their home to give them the love that they need, because of course culture is important, but love will heal all of that. And if you have a white man raising a Black child in love, that's the most important. Now, you go and you find this white man that's raising a Black child. Now he really has added a responsibility of not only raising that child, but understanding the child. Knowing that he was taught in a school system that really didn't teach accurate history. So he really understands the Black child if he's basing it off of what he's learned in the institutions. Now, it's his responsibility now to grow with that child and to take that child to cultural events and affairs, read the history. That's teachable stuff. And I think that the love will take care of the other part that's missing. So I say Black men adopt Black boys. If there's no Black man, white man adopt Black boys. It's a good thing.
You know, I volunteered at an adoption agency, and I was floored because white children cost more than Black children. And this agency was always approving. I mean, they would approve a gay white couple to adopt a Black child over a heterosexual Black man and woman married. So I was like, you know, and this adoption agency was being looked into, and I believe they got rid of the executive director. But that whole industry, I was like, wait, what? You know, it was interesting. But a lot of white families were adopting Black children, and it was beautiful because you're happy that these children are getting a family. And they were chosen, and you know they're going to receive the love and structure and everything that they need. But yes, you do hope that those families come to learn their history and their culture, and can provide that aspect that they need.
I'll tell you, one of my our white friends adopted 2 little Black girls, and I'll tell you. What really got them, what was much more difficult than history or culture, was braiding hair.
Yeah. Yeah.
To me, a true sign of love from a white family for a Black female. Well, actually, any Black child is whether you're gonna take the time and show the dedication to doing that one thing that is so culturally important really well. And you know, now it's a special connection between that mother and her girls. That has, you know, that love, that art, that dedication, that patience, that actual physical laying hands on to show love has transcended a lot of these other things. And I always just look at that, and I look at those beautiful girls, and I look at their hair, and I can remember better than they can, because they were young, what that mom did to have to learn that.
Now that's love, right?
That is love. There's a beauty shop here in Evanston. I'll give her a shout out, Eye Candy. All white parents who have Black children, they bring their kids to Eye Candy hair shop to make sure that their hair is done properly and to learn how to do it. I think that's so beautiful.
So what about this,
Yes.
Mark? You brought up the question, what about these adoption agencies? Should they sort of like to become an American citizen? There are some things that you have to learn. Should there be some cultural training for someone that adopts a person of a different race, nationality, ethnicity? Should there be some cultural training?
Yeah, I think, well, you know, I guess I'd start with a different question just for Meleika. How did the kids themselves, how does a Black child feel, if any kind of way? Do they really know and understand and internalize the difference when they're adopted by a white couple, let's say? Is that an issue for the child themselves?
Well, the adoption agency that I volunteered at, they only dealt with infants, with babies.
Okay.
So, you know, there was no conversation with the kids.
You know, I'd love to have a guest on sometime. I'd love to have some Black folk who were adopted by or raised by white people. I'd love to know what they think as adults about that experience, and the good and the bad and the ugly of it.
Mhm.
I guess at the end of the day, to just go back to what Representative Ford said, I think the key ingredient is love, and true, wholehearted love without conditions.
Yeah.
It can really transcend. And I was just thinking about that within another context recently. And to me, that's sort of the thing is that there is no such thing as conditional love, because if it's conditional, then it isn't love.
Right.
And so I think that complete investment, that complete emotional investment and dedication to a child can transcend a lot of barriers. So I'm inclined to think that a Black child with white parents is better off than a child
Without.
staying in the foster system.
Yeah. I got to tell you, when I think about all the things that it means to be someone's parent, you think about a white person or a Black person adopting someone from a different race. There's a lot of things that I just didn't know, but I did everything that I could to find out how to do it for my daughter. And I think that's the same thing. And I think that's love, because first of all, she'll never know how what my deficit was, because I did everything to fill it before she even knew. And I think that's the same thing that has to happen. Let me ask Meleika.
What?
So white man adopting Black baby. What about a Black man adopting a white baby? Don't choke, Mark. What about the Black man adopting a white baby? I mean, they're going to get stopped at the airport. Is that your baby? It's unbelievable.
Are you the nanny? What's
Man.
going on here, right?
What's wrong with you?
Child trafficking.
Right,
Right.
Are you using that child to smuggle drugs?
right.
Yeah.
So
Do any of us actually have experience with that? Does anybody know of a Black couple that has adopted a white child?
I don't.
Foster parents, but not actual adoption. I don't know any personally.
I don't either, but I do know this, and it's a person that few people I know that have biracial relationships, and the kid actually doesn't look anything like the dad. The kids actually are almost pure white looking, and the father is often embarrassed because he's never recognized as the father, and there are problems at the airport, with these kids. So the Black male, we catch it, but
damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah. So Black men shouldn't adopt white babies?
I'm all for it.
It all comes down to love. So, if you connect or see that this child really needed a home, and you have the love and all, yes. I mean,
to me, it's just a bonus. That way there'll be a few more educated, empathetic white people around.
You know what? I think that it's a good thing. Now, I hope don't nobody get me, but I think Black people should adopt white babies and send them into the restaurant to get the restaurant fee. We're gonna get us a white baby so that they could go in and they could be our front person. And what you think, Mark?
Hey, teach them to drive right away. So that you never get pulled over. Stride in the back.
That's right. So, there's some benefits to, getting a Black baby. And now I think there's some benefits to getting a white baby. So,
not supposed to be looking for benefits.
Oh, Lord.
My question to you two is, when you had your first child, or your only, you guys both have one, were you scared? the day that she was born? Like, what did you feel? Like,
I was scared from the time that I knew my wife was pregnant to now.
I concur with that. I concur with that. What Mark said. You know, it's always right, Mark. But Mark, you and I talked about, and it's good to have a friend in Mark because he's got a year. No, Mark's got a few years. His daughter is a few years. My daughter is just. Well, he has said, I think maybe 2 years. My daughter is just going to college, and your daughter is what?
Yes, just my daughter will be a junior.
And so to listen to, I mean, his daughter's white, my daughter's black, but they're people, same age, they're going down the same path. And to hear him tell me things that I'm going to be facing is very helpful. You know, in fact, he told me that his daughter is making a move in her life. She's going to, what's happening?
We just moved her to Milwaukee, from Chicago to Milwaukee last week. I made several, you know, I have figured out how to use a U-Haul trailer. I mean, if you talk about father's dedication, it's not quite as complicated as braiding hair, but you know, you have to load furniture and you have to unload it and all that kind of stuff. And now she's safely in Milwaukee in her apartment with her roommates, waiting to start junior year. Going to have an internship this summer. And, you know, just like her parents, she's interested in issues of social justice.
And I told her, I look like you want to be rich, huh?
Yeah, that's what I say to her too, is you want to be poor like your parents. Obviously not poor enough because my money as well as my daughter go to Marquette University, but that's a different story. But yeah, it is an amazing time. And I know you'll be experiencing it because you'll be helping your daughter move to Washington, D.C. When's that happening, by the way?
I'm glad you asked. And, you know, she's very excited. And her first day of class, we were talking, and her first day of fall class is August 22nd. And so her move-in date is coming soon. And it's amazing because she's excited to start school.
Oh, yeah. And you know, and it's so weird, like how invested we get into it as parents. Just talking to my wife, so my daughter's going to be a junior, and my wife said already, you know, we should find out when the graduation date is so we can rent a hotel room because they'll get filled up. Right. And it's like 2 years in advance. Who knows what's going to happen?
Well, we know one thing that's going to happen. You guys are going to get that room because your better half knows best. So you better get that room because we know she's graduating. And so I would get that room, like your wife said.
That's right. That's right. As I tell my daughter, I got hand selected to be her father by somebody really smart. So,
Mark, I have a question for you that Rep Ford had asked. He had asked, is it okay for a father to just pop in on his daughter when she's away at college? And I said, I wouldn't suggest that. And he said, why not?
Well, like, it depends. I think it depends, right? I think, hey, it's Friday night at 11 p.m. and I'm going to knock on your door. That's not okay. Right. That's not okay. Hey, I was in town having lunch with a client. You want to have dinner together? That's okay. So I think, you know, hey, I was in Washington for some work meetings. So I'm going to see if my daughter wants to get together for dinner or whatever. I think, you know, any child would be delighted to have that opportunity, unless my kid or yours has a better offer, then they're not going to be shy about being like, nope.
Yeah, and you know what? They're going to love it, you know, drop off that money. And, you know, I know that when they come, they're leaving me with something.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And and I said, can I take you to dinner? More likely as, can I take you grocery shopping?
Grocery shopping, dinner, and the roommates got to come too. So
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Unless you're so embarrassing that the roommates can't come.
So is that right, Meleika? So when we go grocery shopping for Tia, we go shop for the roommate too.
You're shopping for everybody.
That's great. I like that. That's fantastic. I will support her roommate. Almost
The care packages. We look forward to everybody getting a care package because everybody enjoyed those care packages from the parents.
I got to go back to something that we talked about, hair braiding. Just so you know, Mark, as a Black father, I feel that I talked about how I was so deficient in certain things. I never learned how to braid hair. So for all you white men that might have adopted a Black daughter, here's a Black man that cannot braid hair.
There's a lot of men that can't braid hair. Black men can't braid. There's a lot of
right.
men can't braid hair. It's
And I
definitely
can't double Dutch. And there's some things that I just can't do, and I just couldn't master it.
That's all right, Uncle Shawn. At least you can play marbles.
I can play marbles.
So Rep 4, when you had to do Tia's hair when she was little, what were you one of those fathers where she went outside looking like who done it and what for?
No, her mother. That's why I tell you, her mother. We never married, but we great co-parenting. I think we could write a book. Her mother took care of her hair, and she always took care of Tia's appearance, and I'm grateful for her. That's why
That's why she's beautiful.
Yeah. Yep.
All you did was your role was contributing the genetic material. So you
right, okay. And work hard and do my part. And hey Mark, guess what? I believe that some people might say, just give us the money. You just go away. If you money,
leave your wallet on the table and get the hell out. Yes. That's happened too. Right?
Yeah. But
wait a minute, I don't want you. I just want your wallet.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, dads are easy with that. Girls can get money out of dad.
That's one of the useful things about cash. It's easier than giving them a credit card.
Yes. And I don't mind that at all, because I know that the level of comfort and security is what it's all about. Not just doling out the dollars, but the level of security.
And I know her mother raised her right, because even now we'll go somewhere, she'll say, oh, that's too expensive.
Yes, that's right. That's Tia. Well, I know that time is ticking. And one thing that I would say as we wrap up for this episode of Chicago Hill is that, living out your responsibilities as a parent, whether you're a father or uncle, brother, it's the greatest feeling. And it makes you a better person. So if you are a male, and if you're a father, if you want to feel good, if you want your life to be better, if you want to do better in life, look at being a good model for those kids in your life. And I know Mark is going to tell you men something at the end. And I was looking forward to him telling you. Meleika, Mark, let's wrap it.
Meleika, you go for it.
Well, we had so many topics we wanted to talk about today, but I'm glad that we spent this episode on fathers, because I don't think they get enough respect. They're so needed, and we love you guys. And you all get prepared for Father's Day, June 19th, as well as Juneteenth. But definitely pay tribute to the men in your life, whether it's your father, uncle, cousin, mentor. Make that a special day.
And remember, whether you're white or Black, remember what Juneteenth is about. It's about being able to have family, being able to choose to be with your family, like so many generations could not do in the past. And I think that that's actually a really fitting juxtaposition of holidays, because they're very much about the same thing, about love and about family and about personhood and about equality and all those things. You know, in some ways, it is not your race that makes you equal or unequal. It's your upbringing within that race that gives you the feeling of being equal or unequal and of being worthy, regardless of what society or the media or the movies might say about people who look like you. And so it's of utmost importance. And I, by the way, would love to, you know, now that I'm on it, I'd love to invite some feedback from Black folks who got raised by white folks. I would love to know more about what that's like. I'd love to have somebody like that come and talk to us on this show sometime, just because you know, it's such an interesting topic. But you know, and it's particularly comes from a place of being a father, and that is, guys, don't be stupid. Take care of the women in your life.
That's another episode of Chicago Hill. See you next week.